Hey guys, welcome to Rump Chess Rating Climb episode 16, part 2. No game today. I just wanted to share kind of a quick afterthought about the game I played in episode 16, which I won, but it was a very messy game where both myself and my opponent made multiple mistakes and blunders. But I don't really want to talk about all of that in this episode, although there are lots of takeaways. I want to talk about the very beginning of not only this game but all chess games. So chess is really all about making decisions, one decision at a time. Really good players can calculate many moves ahead, but they can only move one piece at a time. So it doesn't really matter what piece they move as long as they make the best decision. And when you're playing on the clock, that adds a bit of pressure because you have to make the right decision and you have to make it quickly. So when the chess game starts, with the board set up, the way we're looking at it here, white moves first. They have 20 possible moves to choose from. And when I started playing chess, I had no idea what to move first or what to move next. I knew how the pieces move, but I really had no game plan. And so when I started playing and learning a little bit about chess, I learned about this thing called opening principles. So basically, I learned that there are a certain set of rules, fairly simple, basic rules that every chess player should generally follow in the opening of the game. So one of the principles is to control the center. So if you look at the board here, the center is these squares right here. So e5, e4, d5, and d4, looking from the perspective of black. So white moves first. So ideally, they want to control one of these four squares here, and black wants to do the same. They want to control these squares. So control the center. The second principle is to develop your pieces, being the minor pieces, the rooks. I'm sorry, the knights and the bishops first, and then the major pieces after that, the rooks, and then of course the queen. And preferably, ideally, develop those pieces without moving the same piece twice, because that just wastes time in your opening development. And then third, but certainly not least, is to castle, either a castle on the king side or castle on the queen side. So if you just follow those basic principles, it helps you eliminate all the bad moves and just focus on the couple of good moves that are left. So having said that, when I'm white, or when most players are white, the two most common moves by far are playing e4 and d4. So e4 being pushing a pawn there, the king's pawn, and of course d4 pushing the queen's pawn. You'll see both, and then black will respond one way or another depending on what their opening strategy is. But still, the idea is to control these four squares right here. Control the center. So in yesterday's game, my opponent opened right here. They opened with an opening called the Reti, the R-E-T-I, Reti. I'm probably not pronouncing that quite correctly, but the move is knight f3. um, and that really kind of threw me off. So if you look at the board right here, that's not a terrible move, and white is so far following opening principles. So they've developed a piece, they've developed a knight, and they are controlling these two red squares right here that I have highlighted. So if I move a piece, or if I push my king's pawn to e5, white can just capture. So my first move just seemed like really intuitive, because I know this d5 square right here is not defended or not attacked. So I move my pawn to there, and so now my pawn is controlling two squares. This square that's green right here is controlled by my pawn, and then this C square is also controlled by my pawn. And then my opponent breaks one of the opening principle rules by moving the same piece twice. He moves his knight again. He moves his knight down here to g5. And at this point, I'm really scratching my head about what to do next. And this knight really becomes a distraction. I don't know what my opponent had in mind. Maybe they're thinking of playing like some fried liver attack or some I don't know. So they could be thinking about something like pushing this king's pawn here, and then bringing this this bishop out here, and attacking here, with a check to the king. I don't know. I don't know what they really had in mind. Only my opponent knows that, or maybe they didn't have a plan at all. Maybe they're just moving their piece around randomly. I have no idea. But nevertheless, I started focusing on this knight over here, and those opening principles just kind of went to the back of my brain somewhere. So what I did is I pushed this H pawn to try to kick this knight away. It's not a terrible move, but by doing that, I didn't strictly follow those opening principles, because although this pawn push does gain a tempo and kind of forces this knight to move somewhere, it doesn't follow the opening principles of controlling the center and developing my pieces. So let's take this back just a minute. So something else that I should have asked myself, when this knight moved, what changed about the board? So when the knight was up here on f3, it controlled both these squares right here. Okay, but now that the knight has moved, it's actually only controlling one of these squares in the center. It's controlling this square right here, and this square and this square are green or safe. Now, if I had some fancy electronic chessboard, it would kind of like show me that. It would be visual, but as a chess player, we have to be able to visualize these cues in our head. It just has to be mental up here in our head. So having said that, there's one move that I can make that actually accomplishes two things. This knight is not really a threat, but it is on my side of the board, so it could become a potential threat. So I really need to keep my eye on that. But this e pawn right here, okay, if I had just follow the principles and not thought about anything else, nothing complicated, not thinking about, well, do I want to play the King's Indian? Do I want to play the French? It doesn't really matter at this point because the game is already unconventional. My opponent has made unconventional moves, so I just have to respond with solid chess principles. So if I just move this pawn to this green square right here, so now I'm controlling this square, this square, this square, this square. My bishop is controlling this entire diagonal. And as a bonus, my queen is controlling this diagonal. And lo and behold, look what's on this diagonal right here. The knight is on this diagonal. So now this knight is being attacked, and I didn't have to even bother pushing this pawn. So having said that, I want to leave you with just a bit of a challenge. I would assume that most of you are probably chess players. Have no idea what your background is or your skill set, with a couple of exceptions. But my question for you is, if you were white in this position, following those basic chess principles, opening chess principles that I just described, so no crazy gambits, nothing like that, just following basic chess principles. So not moving the same piece twice, and keeping in mind that white has already moved the knight twice. So ideally, you don't want to move it a third time. Control the center and develop your pieces. So what move would you make to accomplish those objectives and not blunder your knight away? So I know that was kind of short, and I really posted that video more for my own benefit than yours, because when I make these videos, it kind of it reinforces the knowledge that I already have, and it helps remind me that it's not good enough to have the knowledge if you don't apply the knowledge and what you've learned in your practical chess game. So I'll leave you with that for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed that brief episode, and I'll see you later in a game soon, and I'll be looking forward to seeing your comments. So comment below what would be your next move as white. See you guys.